She wasn't flashy, didn't speak much. Not cut out for intel, they said. But while others chased leads, she connected dots, quietly. She pieced together fragments no one else noticed. What she uncovered? A planned attack near a crowded city center. She alerted command, and within hours, the threat was neutralized. No casualties, no headlines, just a city that would never know how close it came. The analyst they ignored? She just saved thousands with nothing but a keyboard and clarity. From which intelligence facility around the world are you watching this video today? If you enjoy stories that blend analytical precision with the power of quiet dedication, consider subscribing for more content that explores how true intelligence emerges not from noise, but from pattern recognition when it matters most. The morning briefing at Defense Intelligence Agency headquarters had commenced with the methodical precision that characterized the most sensitive intelligence operations responsible for protecting national security through analysis and interpretation of fragmented information whose significance could determine policy decisions affecting global stability and military effectiveness. Intelligence analyst second-class Rebecca Martinez entered the secure analysis facility at exactly 0630 hours, her junior analyst credentials marking her as one of the newest personnel assigned to handling classified fragments that required comprehensive analytical synthesis and pattern recognition for maintaining operational security and strategic advantage. Senior intelligence analyst David Chen stood beside the primary analysis workstation, his experienced hands navigating classified databases that contained fragmentary intelligence from multiple operational theaters, whose interpretation required coordination between technical expertise and analytical intuition that conventional intelligence processing struggled to maintain effectively under conditions demanding immediate assessment and accurate synthesis. At 37, Chen possessed analytical experience spanning multiple intelligence cycles, whereas pattern recognition had proven essential for identifying threats when conventional analysis encountered complexity requiring enhanced expertise and innovative approaches. Status report, Analyst Martinez, Chen said, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had learned that successful intelligence operations depended as much on analytical accuracy as tactical execution. Chen's weathered features reflected the accumulated stress of managing intelligence synthesis, where analytical precision determined whether commanders received information necessary for threat prevention and force protection in environments where intelligence failures could result in strategic disasters and civilian casualties. Martinez activated the primary intelligence display, bringing up real-time analysis from Operation Silent Shield, a complex counterterrorism mission involving multiple agencies whose effectiveness required synthesis of fragmentary intelligence across organizational boundaries that challenged conventional information sharing and analytical procedures designed for single-source analysis rather than multi-source integration and pattern recognition. Sir, all primary intelligence systems operational and analytical processing current, Martinez reported, highlighting specific status indicators on the three-dimensional intelligence synthesis display. Fragment classification protocols verified, analytical procedures confirmed, and intelligence integration proceeding according to established security requirements and operational timelines. She gestured towards secondary displays showing intelligence fragment analysis, pattern recognition procedures, and synthesis coordination protocols that provided intelligence leadership with comprehensive capabilities for maintaining operational security while ensuring information accuracy essential for threat identification and preventive action. Assessment of intelligence fragment integration and analytical synthesis accuracy? Chen inquired, recognizing that analytical precision was essential for threat identification and preventive effectiveness in environments where intelligence fragments could reveal attack planning that sophisticated adversaries sought to conceal through operational security and compartmentalization. Martinez manipulated displays to show comprehensive synthesis protocols, fragment verification procedures, and analytical accuracy measures that protected against intelligence misinterpretation while ensuring pattern recognition essential for threat identification and operational effectiveness according to established intelligence synthesis requirements. Sir, all synthesis protocols current and analytical accuracy verification confirms reliable intelligence integration for all classified fragments and threat assessments. Martinez continued, noting analytical procedures that maintained operational security while ensuring information quality is essential for threat identification and preventive effectiveness. The intelligence data revealed sophisticated analytical systems designed to maintain fragment security and synthesis accuracy in environments where conventional intelligence procedures encountered challenges that required enhanced pattern recognition and analytical protocols exceeding routine intelligence processing and conventional protective measures. Before Martinez could continue her briefing, the analysis facility's secure entrance opened and Colonel Patricia Williams entered, accompanied by her aide and two intelligence specialists from Joint Chiefs Headquarters. Williams, an imposing figure whose presence commanded immediate attention, represented the type of institutional leadership that coordinated complex intelligence operations requiring seamless integration of analytical expertise with threat assessment essential for national security and preventive effectiveness. Senior Analyst Chun, Analyst Martinez, Williams announced, settling behind the intelligence coordination table with obvious focus on analytical operations that would determine threat identification and preventive security during periods when intelligence accuracy required enhanced precision and analytical coordination. Operation Silent Shield represents one of our most critical intelligence synthesis challenges affecting homeland security and threat prevention. The analysis facility's atmosphere intensified as Williams's presence elevated routine intelligence operations to strategic significance for national security and preventive effectiveness. Martinez maintained her professional demeanor while recognizing that intelligence accuracy was being evaluated by senior leadership whose decisions would influence threat assessment and preventive coordination. Colonel, would you like comprehensive briefing on current intelligence status and analytical capabilities? Chin offered, activating displays that showed the complex web of intelligence systems, analytical procedures, and synthesis protocols that maintain national security through fragment processing and threat assessment requiring precise coordination and analytical expertise. Williams studied the intelligence displays showing analytical capabilities, synthesis assessment procedures, and intelligence coordination systems that enabled threat identification through fragment processing that exceeded conventional intelligence capabilities and required enhanced analytical expertise and pattern recognition measures. Give me your assessment of intelligence analytical synthesis and threat identification effectiveness, Senior Analyst Chun, Williams requested, focusing on analytical capabilities and synthesis measures that would determine intelligence effectiveness if threat assessment required immediate analysis and accurate pattern recognition beyond routine intelligence processing and conventional analytical procedures. Chun activated comprehensive analytical displays showing intelligence specialist qualifications, synthesis training backgrounds, and assessment capabilities that provided threat identification through combination of technical expertise and analytical skills essential for addressing intelligence requirements that exceeded conventional processing capabilities and routine analytical procedures. Ma'am, current analytical systems maintain comprehensive synthesis accuracy and threat identification effectiveness through enhanced verification procedures and intelligence coordination protocols, Chin reported, highlighting analytical capabilities that included advanced assessment training, synthesis expertise, and threat analysis qualifications that exceeded routine intelligence requirements. Williams studied the analytical capability data while recognizing that threat identification required specialists whose analytical expertise could address intelligence requirements that sophisticated fragment systems might not process effectively, requiring human interpretation and analytical assessment capabilities that exceeded conventional intelligence monitoring and routine analytical procedures. Assessment of analytical expertise distribution and synthesis capability utilization among intelligence personnel? Williams inquired, understanding that threat effectiveness required intelligence specialists whose analytical training could address immediate requirements demanding assessment and interpretation beyond routine processing and conventional intelligence analysis procedures. Martinez activated analytical capability displays showing intelligence personnel training backgrounds, synthesis qualifications, and assessment readiness that provided threat identification through specialized capabilities that could address intelligence requirements demanding immediate analytical interpretation and threat assessment when conventional processing methods proved inadequate. Ma'am, analytical capabilities distributed among qualified intelligence specialists with enhanced training in threat assessment and synthesis procedures, Martinez reported, noting personnel qualifications that included advanced analytical training and intelligence expertise that exceeded routine requirements for threat identification and operational coordination. Williams reviewed the analytical readiness data while understanding that intelligence effectiveness required personnel whose assessment capabilities could address immediate threat requirements through analytical interpretation when conventional intelligence processing encountered limitations or complex fragments that required human expertise in threat assessment. As they reviewed intelligence assignments, Williams noted that some personnel responsibilities reflected classification restrictions rather than analytical limitations, creating situations where intelligence expertise might not align with current assignment parameters despite demonstrated qualifications and analytical training that exceeded routine intelligence requirements. Personnel assignment protocols affecting analytical capability utilization in classified threat environments. Williams asked, reviewing assignment procedures that might restrict intelligence specialist capabilities despite training qualifications and analytical expertise that could enhance threat identification and intelligence effectiveness. Chen examined personnel assignment protocols while recognizing that some restrictions reflected security considerations rather than capability assessments, potentially limiting analytical expertise utilization despite intelligence specialist qualifications that could enhance threat identification and analytical effectiveness. Ma'am, some personnel assignments reflect classification protocols rather than analytical capability assessments, Chen acknowledged, noting assignment procedures that might not fully utilize intelligence specialist expertise and analytical training that could enhance threat identification effectiveness. Martinez studied personnel assignment protocols while understanding that security restrictions might limit analytical capability utilization despite intelligence specialist qualifications that exceeded routine requirements and could provide enhanced threat identification when intelligence requirements demanded immediate assessment and analytical interpretation. Among intelligence personnel assignments, Martinez's qualifications drew attention for analytical training that exceeded routine intelligence requirements despite assignment parameters that reflected classification considerations rather than analytical capability assessment and intelligence expertise that could enhance threat identification effectiveness. Analyst Martinez possesses advanced pattern recognition training and threat assessment qualifications that exceed routine intelligence assignment requirements, Williams noted, highlighting personnel qualifications that included specialized analytical training and intelligence expertise that could enhance threat identification capabilities. Chen reviewed Martinez's training qualifications while recognizing that her analytical capabilities exceeded current assignment parameters despite intelligence expertise that could provide enhanced threat identification and analytical effectiveness when intelligence requirements demanded immediate assessment and interpretation. Assessment of Analyst Martinez's analytical capabilities compared to current assignment utilization. Williams requested, studying personnel qualifications that indicated intelligence expertise and analytical training that might not align with current assignment restrictions despite capabilities that could enhance threat effectiveness. Martinez displayed her comprehensive training background showing advanced analytical qualifications, threat assessment expertise, and intelligence capabilities that exceeded routine requirements despite assignment parameters that reflected classification considerations rather than analytical capability assessment. Ma'am, Analyst Martinez demonstrates analytical qualifications that exceed current assignment utilization, with intelligence training and threat assessment capabilities that could enhance identification effectiveness, Chen reported, acknowledging personnel expertise that surpassed routine intelligence requirements. Williams studied Martinez's qualifications while understanding that classification considerations had resulted in assignment parameters that might not fully utilize analytical capabilities and intelligence expertise that could enhance threat identification when requirements demanded immediate assessment and analytical interpretation. As they concluded intelligence briefing, Williams assigned Martinez to classified analytical duties that would utilize her assessment capabilities while maintaining security compliance regarding classification assignment parameters, despite analytical qualifications that exceeded routine intelligence requirements. Analyst Martinez, You'll maintain classified analytical responsibilities with focus on threat assessment and intelligence interpretation according to established classification parameters. Williams directed, assigning duties that reflected security considerations rather than analytical capability utilization. Martinez accepted the assignment while understanding that classified duties would utilize her analytical skills despite intelligence training and assessment capabilities that could provide enhanced threat identification effectiveness when requirements demanded immediate interpretation and analytical assessment. 6 weeks later, Martinez found herself managing classified intelligence operations from the Threat Assessment Center while maintaining analytical processing of fragmentary information that required detailed attention and comprehensive synthesis essential for threat identification and operational coordination. Her analytical position required processing intelligence fragments, interpreting threat assessments, and maintaining synthesis that provided comprehensive oversight of intelligence operations while ensuring security protocol compliance and analytical accuracy according to established classification procedures. Intelligence control. This is Threat Analyst. Martinez reported through classified channels during routine status updates, maintaining analytical oversight and assessment procedures according to established intelligence protocols. The response came from Central Intelligence Coordination, acknowledging analytical functions while maintaining operational awareness of threat assessments that required comprehensive processing and interpretation essential for threat identification and protocol compliance. Martinez maintained classified analytical duties while processing intelligence fragments with attention to detail that exceeded routine assessment requirements, applying threat analysis perspective to identify patterns and information that might require enhanced analytical attention despite classification assignment parameters. During routine analytical duties, Martinez identified patterns in fragmentary intelligence and threat assessments that suggested potential security concerns requiring enhanced attention and investigation beyond conventional processing procedures and routine analytical oversight. Intelligence control. Threat analyst noting intelligence patterns that may require enhanced verification and security assessment. Martinez reported, applying analytical skills and threat assessment perspective to identify potential concerns that routine processing might not address adequately. Central Intelligence acknowledged Martinez's analytical observations while implementing enhanced assessment procedures that utilized her interpretive capabilities and attention to detail for identifying intelligence that could affect threat identification despite classification assignment restrictions. As analytical duties continued, Martinez's assessment capabilities revealed intelligence considerations that conventional processing might not identify, demonstrating that classified assignments could provide valuable threat perspectives when combined with analytical training and intelligence expertise. Her analytical position enabled comprehensive interpretation of fragmentary intelligence while maintaining detailed assessment that could identify patterns and concerns requiring threat attention, proving that analytical duties could enhance threat identification when performed by personnel with intelligence training. 8 weeks into her classified assignment, Martinez's analytical processing identified a significant intelligence concern that required immediate attention and threat response beyond routine classification procedures and conventional intelligence processing capabilities. During routine evening analytical duties, Martinez identified fragmentary intelligence that indicated potential threat development requiring immediate investigation and response beyond classification assignment parameters despite restrictions that limited analytical capability utilization. Intelligence control. Threat analyst reporting potential intelligence emergency requiring immediate threat response and investigation. Martinez announced through emergency channels, noting fragments that exceeded routine processing concerns and required analytical intervention. The intelligence concern involved fragmentary information suggesting potential terrorist attack planning through sophisticated methods that conventional security systems had not detected effectively, requiring immediate analytical response and intelligence intervention to prevent threat realization. Martinez identified the intelligence concern while recognizing that immediate analytical response was required despite classification assignment restrictions, applying intelligence training and threat expertise to assess attack probability and required intervention procedures. Intelligence control. fragmentary intelligence indicating potential terrorist attack planning, immediate analytical response required. Martinez reported while preparing for potential intelligence intervention despite restrictions that limited analytical capability utilization during classification assignments. Central Intelligence Coordination activated emergency response procedures while recognizing that Martinez's position provided critical analytical capabilities and intelligence expertise that could prove essential for addressing the threat concern effectively despite classification assignment parameters. The intelligence emergency developed rapidly as fragmentary information demonstrated sophisticated capabilities that exceeded conventional security countermeasures, requiring immediate analytical intervention and threat response to prevent attack realization and civilian endangerment. Martinez recognized that the intelligence situation required immediate action despite classification assignment restrictions, applying analytical training and intelligence expertise to address concerns that conventional processing might not handle effectively due to analytical complexity and threat sophistication. Taking analytical action, Martinez announced while moving to address the intelligence concern through threat intervention that utilized her analytical training and intelligence response capabilities despite restrictions on analytical assignment parameters. Her analytical response addressed the intelligence concern through threat intervention that prevented attack realization and civilian endangerment, demonstrating that classification assignments combined with analytical training could provide enhanced intelligence effectiveness when emergency situations required immediate response. The intelligence emergency was resolved through Martinez's analytical intervention and intelligence capabilities, proving that personnel qualifications and training could enhance threat identification effectiveness when concerns required immediate response beyond conventional processing measures and routine analytical procedures. Intelligence emergency resolved through analytical intervention, Martinez reported as the threat concern was neutralized, acknowledging that analytical capabilities had proven essential for threat identification despite classification assignment parameters that had restricted analytical utilization. Colonel Williams arrived at the intelligence incident location within minutes of threat resolution, recognizing that Martinez's analytical intervention had prevented terrorist attack that could have resulted in massive civilian casualties through sophisticated attack methods that conventional detection had missed. Analyst Martinez, your analytical response prevented significant terrorist attack and potential civilian casualties, Williams acknowledged, understanding that intelligence capabilities had proven essential for threat identification despite classification assignment restrictions. Martinez maintained professional demeanor while understanding that the intelligence incident had demonstrated analytical effectiveness and intelligence training value for threat identification, proving that personnel qualifications could enhance intelligence capabilities when emergency situations required immediate intervention. Williams's incident assessment revealed that Martinez's analytical response had addressed sophisticated intelligence concerns that conventional measures might not have handled effectively, demonstrating that intelligence training and analytical expertise represented valuable threat capabilities regardless of assignment parameters. Your analytical intervention achieved intelligence effectiveness that conventional response procedures might not have accomplished, Williams noted, recognizing that analytical capabilities had proven essential for threat identification despite classification considerations that had limited analytical assignment utilization. The intelligence incident resulted in comprehensive review of personnel assignment policies to ensure that analytical capabilities and intelligence training could be utilized effectively for threat identification when emergency situations required immediate response and analytical intervention beyond routine processing measures. Martinez received recognition for analytical effectiveness and intelligence capabilities that had prevented terrorist attack, establishing precedent for utilizing personnel qualifications and training expertise for enhanced threat identification regardless of classification assignment parameters. 1 year later, Martinez's intelligence training and analytical expertise had been formally recognized through assignment modifications that utilized her threat capabilities more effectively while maintaining classification compliance and analytical responsibilities that enhanced overall threat identification effectiveness. Her analytical intervention had influenced policy reviews that acknowledged intelligence training and threat assessment capabilities as valuable identification assets that could enhance threat effectiveness when combined with classification duties and analytical processing responsibilities. Training programs based on Martinez's integrated approach emphasized analytical awareness and intelligence readiness as components of comprehensive threat effectiveness that could be maintained through various assignment parameters while enhancing overall identification capabilities. Threat identification protocols were modified to acknowledge analytical training and intelligence capabilities as valuable threat assets that could enhance identification effectiveness through integrated approaches that combined classification duties with analytical readiness and intelligence response capabilities. Martinez's career continued with expanded intelligence responsibilities that utilized both classification expertise and analytical capabilities for comprehensive threat identification that acknowledged intelligence training as valuable threat asset rather than restricted capability requiring classification limitations. Her success had demonstrated that analytical training and intelligence capabilities represented valuable threat assets that could enhance identification effectiveness through integrated approaches that combined analytical processing with intelligence readiness and threat response capabilities. The intelligence specialist who had been restricted by classification rather than skill had proven that analytical capabilities and intelligence training represented essential threat assets that could enhance identification effectiveness regardless of assignment parameters or classification responsibilities. Martinez's analytical intervention had established that personnel qualifications and intelligence training could provide enhanced threat effectiveness when integrated with classification duties, proving that analytical capabilities represented valuable threat assets rather than restricted specialties requiring classification limitations. Her career demonstrated that comprehensive threat effectiveness required recognition of analytical training and intelligence capabilities as valuable assets that could enhance identification through integrated approaches that utilized personnel qualifications regardless of assignment parameters. The analyst whose analytical capabilities had been underutilized due to classification considerations had proven that intelligence training and threat assessment expertise represented essential identification assets that could enhance threat effectiveness when emergency situations required immediate analytical intervention. Martinez's success had shown that threat effectiveness required institutional recognition of analytical capabilities and intelligence training as valuable assets that could enhance identification through integrated approaches that combine classification responsibilities with analytical readiness and intelligence response capabilities. Her analytical intervention had demonstrated that personnel qualifications and intelligence training could provide threat effectiveness that conventional measures might not achieve, proving that analytical capabilities represented essential threat assets that required recognition and utilization rather than classification restrictions. The classified analytical specialist whose intelligence capabilities had exceeded assignment parameters had become acknowledged for analytical expertise that proved essential for threat identification, demonstrating that comprehensive threat effectiveness required recognition of all personnel qualifications and training capabilities. Martinez's career illustrated how analytical training and intelligence capabilities could enhance threat effectiveness through integrated approaches that combined classification responsibilities with analytical readiness, proving that personnel qualifications represented valuable threat assets regardless of assignment parameters or classification considerations. Her success had established that comprehensive threat effectiveness required institutional recognition of analytical capabilities as valuable assets that could enhance identification through integrated approaches that utilized personnel qualifications and intelligence training for comprehensive threat identification and intelligence response capabilities. But Martinez's most defining moment would come 14 months later, during a crisis that would test every principle of intelligence analysis and pattern recognition in an environment where fragmentary information held the key to preventing a catastrophic terrorist attack that could result in thousands of civilian casualties. The emergency intelligence alert arrived at Defense Intelligence Agency headquarters at 1623 hours on a Friday afternoon, carrying priority classifications that indicated immediate analysis requirements for fragmentary intelligence suggesting imminent terrorist activity whose prevention could determine whether American civilians faced coordinated attacks designed to maximize casualties and psychological impact. Admiral Robert Chen reviewed classified threat parameters in the secure analysis facility beneath DIA headquarters, his weathered features reflecting the gravity of intelligence synthesis that would balance analytical accuracy with time pressure in an environment where delayed response could result in mass casualty events. Analyst Martinez, Chen said as Martinez entered the emergency analysis room. We have fragmentary intelligence suggesting imminent terrorist attack planning that requires your specialized pattern recognition capabilities and analytical synthesis skills under extreme time pressure and accuracy requirements. Martinez studied intelligence fragments while understanding that terrorist attack prevention represented ultimate test of analytical capabilities, requiring pattern recognition and synthesis accuracy that could determine whether thousands of civilians survived sophisticated attack planning that conventional intelligence had failed to detect. Sir, what's the intelligence situation? Martinez asked, examining preliminary fragments that suggested terrorist planning had progressed beyond conventional detection capabilities, requiring analytical synthesis and pattern recognition that exceeded routine intelligence processing and conventional threat assessment. Chen activated threat analysis displays showing fragmentary intelligence from multiple sources whose synthesis could reveal attack planning, but whose interpretation required analytical expertise and pattern recognition that conventional processing methods had been unable to achieve effectively. We have intelligence fragments suggesting coordinated terrorist attack planning targeting civilian populations, but conventional analysis has been unable to synthesize coherent threat assessment. Chen explained, highlighting analytical complexity that required expertise in pattern recognition and fragment synthesis. The intelligence briefing revealed fragmentary information that appeared unrelated through conventional analysis, but whose synthesis through advanced pattern recognition could reveal sophisticated attack planning that threatened civilian populations through coordinated methods designed to maximize casualties. Assessment of intelligence fragment patterns and synthesis requirements. Martinez inquired, studying fragments that suggested systematic attack planning had been compartmentalized to prevent detection, requiring analytical synthesis that could identify patterns conventional processing had missed. Chen displayed comprehensive fragment analysis showing intelligence pieces that conventional synthesis had been unable to connect, indicating that threat identification would require analytical expertise and pattern recognition that exceeded routine processing capabilities and conventional assessment methods. Intelligence fragments appear disconnected through conventional analysis, but sophisticated attack planning typically employs compartmentalization that requires advanced pattern recognition for threat identification. Chen continued, acknowledging analytical challenges that demanded expertise beyond conventional capabilities. Martinez studied the intelligence fragments while recognizing patterns that suggested her analytical training and pattern recognition capabilities might provide synthesis advantages that conventional processing had not achieved, understanding that civilian safety could depend on accurate threat assessment. Sir, fragmentary intelligence often reveals attack planning through subtle patterns that require comprehensive synthesis and advanced pattern recognition, Martinez observed, noting that her analytical expertise might identify connections that conventional processing had missed. Chen activated additional fragment displays showing intelligence pieces whose synthesis could reveal attack timeline and target identification, but whose interpretation required analytical capabilities that conventional processing methods had proven unable to achieve through routine assessment procedures. The challenge is synthesis timeline, Chen explained. Intelligence suggests attack planning may be in final phases, requiring immediate pattern recognition and threat assessment that could enable preventive response before attack initiation. Martinez understood that intelligence synthesis would require her most advanced analytical capabilities under extreme time pressure, where pattern recognition accuracy could determine whether preventive measures could be implemented before terrorist attack execution that could result in massive civilian casualties. Sir, I'll implement comprehensive fragment synthesis using advanced pattern recognition methodologies, Martinez confirmed, beginning analytical procedures that would test her capabilities under conditions where accuracy and speed were both essential for civilian protection. Over the following 6 hours, Martinez conducted intensive intelligence synthesis using pattern recognition techniques that identified connections between fragmentary intelligence that conventional analysis had been unable to achieve, revealing sophisticated attack planning through analytical methods that exceeded routine processing capabilities. Her analysis revealed that terrorist planning involved coordinated attacks on civilian targets using methods designed to maximize casualties while avoiding conventional detection, requiring preventive response that could only be implemented through accurate threat assessment and target identification. Admiral Chun. Martinez reported after comprehensive synthesis, pattern recognition indicates coordinated terrorist attack planning targeting multiple civilian locations with execution timeline, suggesting imminent implementation requiring immediate preventive response. Chun studied Martinez's threat assessment while recognizing that her analytical synthesis had achieved pattern recognition that conventional processing had been unable to accomplish, providing threat identification that could enable preventive measures and civilian protection. Specific threat assessment and preventive response recommendations. Chun requested, understanding that Martinez's analysis could provide information necessary for preventing terrorist attacks that could result in massive civilian casualties through sophisticated planning. Martinez activated comprehensive threat displays showing attack planning timeline, target identification, and preventive response requirements that her pattern recognition had synthesized from fragmentary intelligence, providing threat assessment that enabled immediate preventive action. Sir, analysis indicates coordinated attacks planned against civilian gatherings with execution within next 18 hours, requiring immediate law enforcement coordination and preventive security measures, Martinez reported, providing threat identification that conventional analysis had been unable to achieve. Chun immediately activated emergency response protocols while recognizing that Martinez's analytical synthesis had identified terrorist planning that could prevent massive civilian casualties through pattern recognition that exceeded conventional intelligence capabilities and routine assessment methods. Emergency response implementing based on analytical threat assessment. Chun announced through emergency channels, noting that Martinez's pattern recognition had provided threat identification essential for civilian protection and attack prevention. Emergency preventive measures were implemented across multiple civilian locations, while Martinez's analytical assessment provided information necessary for coordinating law enforcement response and security measures that could prevent terrorist attack execution and civilian casualties. Federal law enforcement agencies received threat intelligence based on Martinez's synthesis, while implementing preventive measures that could neutralize attack planning before execution, utilizing analytical assessment that conventional intelligence processing had been unable to provide through routine methods. The preventive response based on Martinez's analysis successfully identified and neutralized terrorist attack planning before execution, preventing coordinated attacks that could have resulted in thousands of civilian casualties through sophisticated methods that conventional detection had missed. Threat neutralized through analytical intervention. Chun reported as preventive measures prevented terrorist attack execution, acknowledging that Martinez's pattern recognition had achieved threat identification that conventional analysis could not accomplish through routine processing. 12 hours later, comprehensive threat assessment revealed that Martinez's analytical synthesis had prevented coordinated terrorist attacks that could have resulted in massive civilian casualties, demonstrating that advanced pattern recognition could achieve threat identification that conventional intelligence processing had missed. Admiral Chun's operational report specifically commended Martinez's analytical synthesis for preventing terrorist attacks through pattern recognition that conventional analysis could not achieve, acknowledging that specialized analytical capabilities had proven essential for civilian protection and attack prevention. Analyst Martinez's pattern recognition prevented coordinated terrorist attacks that could have resulted in thousands of civilian casualties, Chun reported, recognizing that analytical synthesis had proven essential for threat identification when conventional processing proved inadequate. Martinez received assignment to develop advanced analytical training programs for intelligence personnel whose pattern recognition capabilities could enhance threat identification through synthesis methods that exceeded conventional processing and routine assessment capabilities. Her analytical synthesis techniques were designated as standard protocols for terrorist threat assessment. acknowledging pattern recognition as critical intelligence capability rather than specialized methodology that conventional processing had typically considered secondary to routine procedures. Defense Intelligence Agency established advanced analytical synthesis as essential capability requiring expertise in pattern recognition and fragment analysis in addition to conventional intelligence competence, recognizing evolved understanding of requirements for effective threat identification under challenging conditions. The analyst who had been dismissed as not cut out for intel had proven through pattern recognition that analytical synthesis could achieve threat identification that conventional processing couldn't accomplish, demonstrating that specialized analytical capabilities were essential for preventing terrorist attacks and protecting civilian populations from sophisticated attack planning. But Martinez's ultimate validation would come 8 months later, during a memorial service that would publicly acknowledge her contributions in ways that challenged institutional assumptions about recognition, sacrifice, and the relationship between analytical service and operational heroism in intelligence operations where quiet dedication often proved more valuable than visible action. The memorial service for fallen intelligence officers at Arlington National Cemetery had commenced with solemn precision that characterized the most sacred recognition ceremonies honoring intelligence professionals whose service to national security often remained classified and unacknowledged despite ultimate sacrifice that affected global stability and civilian protection. Distinguished guests filled the ceremonial area while classified achievements were honored through careful language that protected operational security while recognizing exceptional service and ultimate sacrifice. Secretary of Defense Patricia Morrison presided over the memorial from the primary podium, her presence lending institutional gravity to recognition events that balanced public acknowledgement with operational security requirements that protected intelligence methods and sources while honoring personnel whose sacrifice exceeded conventional service metrics and analytical standards. Today, we honor intelligence professionals whose dedication to analytical excellence and national security achieved ultimate sacrifice that strengthens American security while protecting democratic values and civilian populations. Morrison announced, beginning ceremonies that would recognize exceptional service while maintaining operational security that protected ongoing intelligence capabilities. The ceremonial atmosphere reflected the intersection of public recognition and classified service, creating acknowledgement environment where intelligence sacrifice could be honored while operational security remained protected through careful presentation that celebrated ultimate service without compromising strategic effectiveness or intelligence capabilities. Among those being memorialized was Senior Intelligence Officer Michael Rodriguez, whose analytical leadership had achieved strategic success through comprehensive threat assessment and institutional excellence that enhanced national security capabilities while maintaining operational effectiveness and intelligence security protection until his death during a classified operation. Rodriguez's widow, Sarah Rodriguez, observed the memorial ceremonies with quiet dignity while understanding that her husband's analytical contributions had often remained unacknowledged despite strategic importance that affected civilian protection and national security through intelligence excellence and institutional dedication that had cost him his life. As recognition ceremonies proceeded, honors were presented to intelligence families whose loved ones' achievements could be publicly acknowledged without compromising operational security, creating recognition environment that honored analytical excellence while protecting operational methods and strategic information essential for ongoing intelligence effectiveness. Distinguished service recognitions were awarded to families of senior intelligence officers whose leadership had achieved strategic success through comprehensive analytical coordination and institutional excellence that enhanced national security capabilities while maintaining operational effectiveness and intelligence security protection. Intelligence excellence honors recognized families of analytical specialists whose technical expertise had provided strategic advantages through innovative assessment methods and enhanced analytical capabilities that improved intelligence effectiveness while ensuring operational security and protective measures. Exceptional sacrifice recognitions honored families of intelligence personnel whose dedication had achieved ultimate service through superior analytical performance and institutional commitment that exceeded conventional service standards while maintaining security protocols and operational effectiveness until their final sacrifice. Martinez observed the recognition ceremonies from her assigned position in the memorial area, understanding that classified intelligence achievements often remained unacknowledged despite strategic importance that affected national security and civilian protection through analytical excellence and institutional dedication that sometimes required ultimate sacrifice. Her analytical contributions to terrorist attack prevention and intelligence synthesis had enhanced threat identification and civilian protection while maintaining operational security, but institutional policies typically prevented public recognition of classified achievements that could compromise operational security despite strategic importance and life-saving impact. Sarah Rodriguez approached the memorial podium when invited to speak about her husband's service, carrying the dignity of someone whose personal loss represented sacrifice for national security and civilian protection that extended far beyond individual grief to encompass institutional dedication and intelligence excellence. Michael believed that intelligence service meant protecting people who would never know they needed protection, Sarah Rodriguez said, her voice steady despite obvious grief. He understood that the most important intelligence work happened quietly, without recognition, but with consequences that affected thousands of lives. The memorial area fell silent as Sarah Rodriguez continued her remarks about intelligence service that transcended individual recognition to encompass civilian protection and national security through analytical excellence and institutional dedication that required personal sacrifice for greater good. But Michael also understood that intelligence excellence emerged through collaboration and teamwork that connected analytical minds working toward common purpose. Sarah Rodriguez continued, scanning the memorial area with obvious intention to acknowledge specific contributions. There are people here whose analytical work enabled his success and whose dedication made his sacrifice meaningful. The ceremonial atmosphere shifted as Sarah Rodriguez's remarks suggested recognition beyond conventional memorial procedures, creating acknowledgement environment where exceptional analytical service might receive honor despite operational security considerations that typically prevented public recognition of intelligence contributions. Sarah Rodriguez stepped away from the podium while scanning the memorial area with obvious intention to provide recognition that transcended conventional acknowledgement procedures, approaching personnel seating areas where intelligence professionals observed ceremonies while maintaining professional dignity despite unacknowledged contributions. Analyst Rebecca Martinez, Sarah Rodriguez called while approaching Martinez's position, creating recognition moment that challenged conventional assumptions about public acknowledgement of classified intelligence contributions and analytical excellence that enhanced civilian protection and national security. The memorial area fell silent as Sarah Rodriguez's approach to Martinez suggested unprecedented recognition of classified contributions, creating acknowledgement environment where intelligence excellence might receive public honor despite operational security considerations that typically prevented such recognition and institutional visibility. Analyst Martinez, Sarah Rodriguez continued while stopping directly before Martinez's position. Your analytical excellence and pattern recognition prevented the terrorist attacks that Michael died trying to stop. Your synthesis saved the thousands of lives he gave his life to protect. Sarah Rodriguez addressed Martinez directly while other memorial attendees recognized the significance of public acknowledgement for classified intelligence work, creating recognition moment that transcended conventional procedures and challenged institutional assumptions about public recognition of analytical contributions. Michael spoke about your work, Sarah Rodriguez continued, her voice carrying conviction that challenged protocol restrictions. He said your pattern recognition and analytical synthesis represented intelligence excellence that most people couldn't understand or appreciate, but that saved more lives than conventional operations. The recognition moment represented unprecedented acknowledgement of classified intelligence achievements through personal testimony that balanced operational security with public recognition of analytical excellence and civilian protection that enhanced national security effectiveness through quiet dedication and pattern recognition. Your analytical work prevented the coordinated attacks that took Michael's life during the final operation to neutralize remaining terrorist cells, Sarah Rodriguez explained, providing context that acknowledged Martinez's contributions despite operational security considerations. He died knowing that your synthesis had already saved thousands of civilians. The memorial area maintained respectful silence as Sarah Rodriguez's recognition acknowledged Martinez's intelligence contributions while demonstrating that analytical excellence deserved acknowledgement despite classification security considerations that typically prevented public recognition of threat identification and civilian protection. The analyst they said wasn't cut out for intelligence work became the reason thousands of families never experienced the loss I'm experiencing today. Sarah Rodriguez concluded, providing recognition that honored both her husband's sacrifice and Martinez's analytical contributions through personal testimony that transcended institutional restrictions. As Sarah Rodriguez completed her recognition, the memorial area erupted in sustained acknowledgement that honored Martinez's intelligence contributions while demonstrating institutional appreciation for analytical excellence and civilian protection that strengthened both security effectiveness and community safety through quiet dedication. The recognition continued as intelligence professionals throughout the memorial area acknowledged Martinez's contributions through sustained appreciation that transcended conventional recognition procedures while honoring analytical excellence and institutional dedication that enhanced national security and civilian protection. Sarah Rodriguez returned to her position while the memorial area maintained recognition of Martinez's contributions through continued acknowledgement that demonstrated community appreciation for intelligence excellence and civilian protection that strengthened both security effectiveness and public safety despite operational security considerations. Today's recognition reminds us that intelligence excellence emerges through analytical dedication and pattern recognition that protects civilian populations and strengthens national security. Secretary Morrison concluded, acknowledging that exceptional analytical service could receive institutional honor despite operational security considerations. The memorial concluded with continued recognition of Martinez's contributions as intelligence professionals acknowledged analytical excellence and civilian protection that enhanced both security effectiveness and community safety through institutional service that exemplified the highest standards of intelligence dedication and sacrifice. Following the memorial, senior intelligence leadership approached Martinez to provide personal recognition of her contributions while acknowledging that analytical excellence and pattern recognition had enhanced intelligence effectiveness and civilian protection despite classification restrictions that typically prevented public acknowledgement. Analyst Martinez, said Director of National Intelligence Robert Shun, your analytical synthesis represents intelligence excellence that strengthens both national security and civilian protection through institutional service that exemplifies dedication to pattern recognition and threat identification. Deputy Director Patricia Williams added her recognition while acknowledging Martinez's contributions to intelligence excellence and analytical synthesis that had enhanced civilian protection and security effectiveness through institutional dedication that exceeded conventional service standards despite operational security considerations. Your terrorist attack prevention demonstrated that analytical synthesis could achieve civilian protection while maintaining operational security, Williams noted, recognizing analytical excellence that had balanced threat identification with security protection through institutional expertise and dedication to pattern recognition. Admiral Chun, representing Defense Intelligence Agency leadership, provided additional recognition while acknowledging that Martinez's analytical contributions had enhanced intelligence effectiveness and institutional capability through civilian protection that strengthened both security capabilities and community safety. Your analytical excellence has influenced institutional recognition of pattern recognition as essential for both national security and civilian protection, Chin observed, acknowledging contributions that had enhanced intelligence effectiveness while maintaining operational security and civilian protection. The recognition from senior leadership demonstrated institutional appreciation for Martinez's analytical excellence and pattern recognition that had strengthened intelligence effectiveness while enhancing civilian protection and security through institutional service that exemplified exceptional dedication and professional excellence. 6 months later, Martinez's memorial recognition had influenced institutional policies regarding acknowledgement of classified intelligence achievements, establishing precedent for balancing operational security with public recognition of exceptional analytical service and civilian protection that enhanced national security and community safety. Her unprecedented public recognition had demonstrated that intelligence excellence could receive institutional acknowledgement while maintaining operational security, proving that exceptional analytical service could be honored despite security considerations that typically prevented public recognition of pattern recognition and threat identification. Congressional leadership commended the recognition of Martinez's contributions as exemplary demonstration of institutional integrity that acknowledged intelligence excellence while protecting operational security, establishing precedent for recognizing classified achievements that enhanced both national security and civilian protection. Analyst Martinez's recognition demonstrates that intelligence excellence deserves institutional acknowledgement that strengthens both security effectiveness and civilian protection. Congressional leadership reported, acknowledging that exceptional analytical service could receive public honor while maintaining operational security and classification protection. Defense Intelligence Agency established recognition protocols for classified achievements that enhanced institutional effectiveness while maintaining operational security, acknowledging that exceptional analytical service could receive acknowledgement despite classification considerations that typically prevented public recognition of intelligence excellence. Her recognition had influenced institutional understanding that intelligence excellence could be acknowledged publicly while protecting operational security, demonstrating that exceptional analytical service deserved recognition that strengthened both security effectiveness and civilian protection through institutional honor and professional acknowledgement. Training programs based on Martinez's recognition emphasized that intelligence excellence deserved institutional acknowledgement that could enhance both security effectiveness and civilian protection while maintaining operational protection and classification security according to established protocols and security requirements. Intelligence leadership development programs incorporated Martinez's recognition as exemplary demonstration of institutional integrity that balanced public acknowledgement with operational security, showing that exceptional analytical service could receive honor while protecting intelligence capabilities and security effectiveness. Martinez's career continued with expanded responsibilities that utilized her recognized expertise in analytical excellence and pattern recognition, demonstrating that institutional acknowledgement could enhance intelligence effectiveness while maintaining operational security and civilian protection through exceptional service and professional dedication. Her recognition had proven that intelligence excellence deserved institutional acknowledgement that could strengthen both security effectiveness and civilian protection, establishing precedent for honoring exceptional analytical service while maintaining operational protection and classification security through balanced recognition procedures. The intelligence specialist who had been dismissed as not cut out for intel had become publicly acknowledged for analytical excellence and pattern recognition that enhanced both national security and civilian protection, demonstrating that exceptional service could receive institutional honor despite operational security considerations. Martinez's unprecedented recognition had shown that intelligence excellence could be acknowledged publicly while protecting operational capabilities, proving that exceptional analytical service deserved honor that strengthened both security effectiveness and civilian protection through institutional recognition and professional acknowledgement. Her memorial recognition had established that analytical excellence and pattern recognition represented service worthy of institutional acknowledgement despite classification considerations, demonstrating that exceptional contributions could receive public honor while maintaining operational security and intelligence effectiveness. The analyst whose capabilities had been undervalued became publicly recognized for intelligence excellence that enhanced both security effectiveness and civilian protection, proving that exceptional analytical service could receive institutional acknowledgement while protecting operational capabilities and classification security through balanced recognition procedures. Martinez's recognition had demonstrated that institutional integrity required acknowledgement of intelligence excellence that strengthened both national security and civilian protection, establishing precedent for honoring exceptional analytical service despite operational considerations that typically prevented public recognition of pattern recognition and threat identification. Her public acknowledgement had proven that intelligence excellence deserved recognition that could enhance both security effectiveness and civilian protection while maintaining operational protection, demonstrating that exceptional analytical service could receive institutional honor through balanced acknowledgement procedures that protected classification security. The intelligence professional who had been told she wasn't cut out for intel had become publicly acknowledged for analytical excellence and pattern recognition that enhanced both security effectiveness and civilian protection, proving that exceptional service could receive institutional recognition despite classification considerations that typically prevented public acknowledgement. Martinez's unprecedented recognition had established that intelligence excellence could be honored publicly while protecting operational capabilities, demonstrating that institutional integrity required acknowledgement of exceptional analytical service that strengthened both national security and civilian protection through pattern recognition and threat identification excellence. Her recognition had shown that intelligence achievements could receive public acknowledgement while maintaining operational security, proving that exceptional analytical service deserved institutional honor that enhanced both security effectiveness and civilian protection through balanced recognition procedures that protected classification requirements while acknowledging intelligence excellence. The memorial that had proceeded with traditional recognition had concluded with Martinez receiving the most meaningful acknowledgement of all. Personal testimony from a Gold Star widow that her analytical excellence and pattern recognition had enhanced both national security and civilian protection through exceptional service that exemplified the highest standards of intelligence dedication, sacrifice, and professional excellence that saved thousands of lives through quiet analytical work that others couldn't see or understand.